Welcome guys to the Meet Damien live stream. I am Damien. In today's live stream, we're going to first start talking about the price of oil because it had a significant drop in price after Trump said that they're not going to be bombing Iranian power plants here. That was good news for cryptocurrencies as well as good news for the stock market because it gave people hopes that that there's going to be some talks between the United States and Iran about opening up the Strait of Hormuz and maybe a possible ceasefire here. However, I did look at the recent news on Twitter. I saw some things from Iran that says quite the contrary, and we are getting a little bit of bounce in the price of oil and also a drop in the price of Bitcoin. So we'll go over that in today's live stream. We'll first, start with the price of oil, but we'll go over what was said and then what was said back and how that's affecting the markets here. Right now, we see that the price of oil, for those who are trading oil, oil is currently trading at $92 right now a barrel. Earlier last night, we saw about $103 on West Texas Intermediate Oil. That's the WTI ticker symbol there. This is oil from Texas. I think we saw like Brent oil get as high as like $114 a barrel last night as well, and it also took a steep hit. And just looking at the oil prices, they were, both Brent and West Texas oil was above $100 a barrel last night, and then we've seen it drop down to like $85 this morning here on TradingView. We saw that very nasty red candle here right after Trump tweeted that they're in talks with Iran to they had productive talks, but we don't really know if that's the case here because the news, I was listening to the news and they asked Donald Trump, well, who did you talk to about talks with Iran for opening up the Strait of Hormuz and a ceasefire? And Trump said, yeah, well, we eliminated a bunch of their top leaders, so it's really hard to tell who's in charge over there. But we are, in talks with, talking to, to me, it just sounded like Trump was making stuff up. Probably because he saw that the oil prices were surging above $100 a barrel, and the stock market futures, the S&P futures, the NASDAQ, and the Dow Jones futures were all crashing last night. And what did Trump do at 7 o'clock in the morning Eastern time here? He fired off a tweet, and we'll go over here to Twitter here. But he fired off a tweet here, as I can show you right here, on his Truth social media. And, it says that, Trump is not going to blow up the power plants, right? And that they're going to hold off the military strikes for like a 5-day period, subject to the success of ongoing meetings and discussions here. Thank you for the attention to this matter, President Donald Trump. Okay. However, he said that this morning, and the markets, they reacted. The prices jumped up. Oil crashed right on that news. But then here, you can see that the Iran military news, they said that there are no negotiations underway with the United States. They say that we reject Trump's claim about ongoing talks, and the Islamic Republic of Iran will not accept any negotiations until its objectives in the war are achieved. Trump's remarks are a retreat from his earlier threats, but Iran's position has not changed. As for the Strait of Hormuz, we reaffirm that this passage will remain closed to aggressors. Okay. And what did that do to the news here? I mean, what did I do to prices? Well, we saw oil drop down to $85 earlier this morning. Let me go into the 1-hour chart here. Okay. We saw, the price drop at 7 o'clock in the morning when Trump fired off his tweet. Okay. But then a couple hours later, we seen oil prices start climbing back up again after Iran said, no, we're actually not talking. We're still in the same position that we were, last week. We're closing down the Strait of Hormuz to all aggressors. That would include the United States and anybody that transferring oil that's not friendly with Iran. So yeah, we got a little bit of drama going on in the markets here. especially with the oil prices going on. And you know, if I show you the oil chart and how it dropped, but then if I show you like the Bitcoin chart here, you can see that Bitcoin actually spiked up on the news. We saw Bitcoin go up to like $71,800 here. Okay, but then the news came out that Iran, you know, basically said, no, we're not actually talking to Donald Trump. And then, you know, of course, we got that red candle here dropping us down. Here on Bitcoin, we actually did get above this 200 moving average, that red line right there, which is important for us to get above. Okay, we haven't been above that 200 moving average since like Wednesday of last week, when things were getting really bad, you know, with the war in Iran and the Middle East conflict. We've been basically below that 200 moving average up until now. I think if we were to climb back up above that 200 moving average, might be another area where it's worth taking a short. Whoever is shorted here, I'm not sure how much conviction they had, because, you know, we weren't sure if Donald Trump was, you know, telling the truth about there being a possible ceasefire here and that talks are productive with Iran. But this was like actually the best area to try to short Bitcoin, and you're immediately getting paid on your short if that's what you did here. Okay. However, if we do climb back up, unless we get some more positive news about, you know, a possible ceasefire here, I think this could be, if we get back up to 71K here on Bitcoin, that could be another area where we could re-enter our short. So, you know, last night I was in a trade. I was shorting Bitcoin and trying to long oil myself here. And it looks like you know, I got stopped out on my long on oil, and I got stopped out on my short on Bitcoin. Obviously, I think a lot of people got stopped out. I've seen it here on my Discord channel that a lot of people got stopped out. Some stop losses got skipped, unfortunately, because of all the craziness in the markets here. And I just think that, you know, we might be able to get better entries on our shorts on Bitcoin and better entries on our longs on oil after what happened today, because it looks like Donald Trump, he tacoed. You know, we call it Trump always chickens out at Taco Tuesday. It looks like Taco Tuesday started a little bit early this week. We had Taco Monday, where Trump backed off on his threats to attack Iranian power plants. And you know what? That really doesn't accomplish a lot. Or it doesn't really accomplish our war goals. I shouldn't say our war goals, but it doesn't accomplish the American and Israeli war goals, because how does blowing up power plants, civilian power plants, actually help you win a war against your enemy, against your aggressor? All it does is punish the people, the innocent people and civilians in Iran, and it would actually turn the sentiment sour. Like, if there was anybody that was supporting you know, America over in Iran, if they see their power plants getting blown up by America and now they can't turn on the electricity and they're having problems with, you know, getting water and having a humanitarian crisis, I mean, it makes America look bad, and then they might decide to just support the Iranian regime because, you know, America is over here doing more damage to them than the Iranian regime in that case, right? It's also a potential war crime. I'm not even sure if I should say that on YouTube, but it is a potential war crime to be blowing up power plants, especially if it has no military use. Like, if the power plant was connected to, like, maybe Iranian missile launchers, and they were launching missiles, and the power plant, if it gets shut down or blown up, if it stops them from launching missiles, then that would be justification for going after a power plant. But going after the power plant because you're trying to get them to open up the Strait of Hormuz, that's not rational justification, and it will be looked at as a war crime. I think that is another reason why Donald Trump kind of backed off on today's threats of blowing up the power plant. So I think, you know, this, how do we trade this as traders? Well, you know, I think we just got better entries on trying to short Bitcoin, if that's what you want to do. And I think we got better entries on trying to long oil, if that's what you're trying to do. And I actually am trying to do those two trades at this moment here. I'm actually trying to long oil. I got back into my oil long, and I got back into a Bitcoin short. I want to see if Bitcoin climbs up a little bit higher to like 71K, and then I want to try to see if I can short it at 71K. But yeah, I think you know, I think the war is going to continue on, and this was just a bluff by Trump, and Trump was trying to save face and get out of you know, potential war crime that he was about to commit, and also it would have got worse because Iran was actually doubling down and saying, well, if you're going to blow up our power plants, we're going to blow up the power plants that we can that support, you know, United States. And they were going to attack Israel again, and they were going to attack their neighbors who aren't able to defend like Israel can. So they were probably going to attack the power plants and the desalination. I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right, but the water plants. They were gonna attack civilian infrastructure and probably cause a humanitarian crisis for all of the Middle East. And then on top of that, you know, you had oil futures spiking, and you had the stock market crashing last night. I just think that Trump just realized, like, hey, you know what? This is going to cause more harm than good here. So I think that's why we had the basically Trump reversing and not really carrying out on his threats here. But anyways, let me get into the chat here. I see we got DZ's in the chat. DZ's requesting MOG and THQ as some requests here to look at. And then we got, let's see. I got to take a look and see what my TikTok guys are saying. But we got to look at MOG and THQ as a couple of requests here. And then DZ is wondering what other coins might be popping off. I mean, the talk of the town this weekend, DZ, was Siren. We all know that Siren's been making some moves here. Maybe we might take a look at Siren. I might put that down as a request for myself because I want to see what that thing's been up to. It just came out of nowhere, and people just started buying and bidding up the price of Siren. But anyways, let me check in the chat here, see what my TikTok guys have to say about what I just said here. Kaf, I'm not even sure how to say your name right, but we do have a guy here that says he loves my analysis here on TikTok. Appreciate that. I'm glad you were enjoying the analysis here. We are taking a look at Bitcoin right now, but we can always take a look at Bitcoin later. I am going to move on and take a look at MOG. And then we'll take a look at THQ. So let's see what MOG is doing. I believe that's a meme coin here, right? Yeah, it looks like a meme coin. Ooh, what is this? This is looking a little weird and janky here. It's on the 1 hour time frame. What? Let me. There's got to be better data for this. What is this? It doesn't look like it has that much liquidity here. Something's going on here with the liquidity. Let me look at MOG on another cryptocurrency exchange. Maybe I can get it off of MEXC, see what it looks like on MEXC. Alright, a little bit better data here. I mean, what is the price of MOG right now? This thing is trading like below, you know, a tenth of a penny here. We're just going to call this number 1497. 6 decimal places removed from 0. Okay? So 1497's the current price of MOG. This thing looks like it's going down and to the right, and should be a good short. I'm not sure if you're able to actually invest and make some money long in this asset here. Let me go ahead and readjust this, get the charts here. But yeah, you're clearly in the bear market because you're below the 200-day, the 100-day, and the 50-day. On moving averages here. That lets me know that you're in a bear market for sure. You're in bearish territory for MOG coin. And man, I mean, I've done previous analysis on this coin when it was at higher prices here. But, you know, this Fibonacci no longer useful anymore because you just totally dropped like a rock here. MOG has seen its best days, better days back here in July of last year. Remember we were trading at like almost like 2,000. To like the 5th decimal point. So like we were at definitely higher prices. I think this is almost like a 90% drop from where we were in July. Let me go ahead and measure that out real quick here, just to get an idea like how far of a drop have you done here on MOG. You're down 92% from where you were in July. Okay. So yeah, you're definitely acting like an altcoin and a shitcoin and a meme coin in this case. Could you drop any further? Let's zoom out, see how far back we can get for data here. This thing looks like it was trading on MEXC Exchange back here in February of 2024, and you were trading as low as like, we'll just call that 107, 1007 here. I mean, you're basically at the same price as you were 2 years ago here on MOG. Okay. You would think MOG should get some support. I mean, you could still game plan this out if you're a risky trader, and I'm assuming you are because you're talking about MOG, which is a meme coin. Meme coins are already risky. Cryptocurrencies in general are already risky in itself, and then you move down the risk ladder further down to like meme coins, and you're already, you know, a risky trader just trading meme coins. And you know, I think, yeah, you know, MOG has dropped down 90%, 92%. We've already seen that here. However, you are kind of trading at the same price that you were 2 years ago. You can kind of game plan along, believe it or not, and keep a tight stop loss where, you know, you put your stop loss below what you were doing here in February of 2024 when you're at like 107 here. Right now we're at, you know, 149. I should say, I'm not sure, I was 1496 or like 1070. Okay, so here's what I would do, right? If we're gonna try to long MOG here, you're gonna put your stop loss, or at least, you know, not financial advice, I gotta make that disclaimer here, but I would probably put my stop loss right below the lows here in February of 2024. Looks like we got down as low as 1040. So maybe you put the stop loss at like 980 or even 1,000 if you want to make it a clean, even number there. You're still risking about 33% on the stop loss for this, so you don't really need to trade leverage on this, okay? But then where would you put your where would you take profit, right? Where would you take profit? So like I would have to go back to where we were here on the chart here on MOG, right? I would probably take profit right at that 200-day moving average if you're able to, if we ever get up to that price there, okay? So let's go ahead and try to game plan this long here, okay? We said we're going to try to long right now, right? And we're going to probably put the stop loss at like 1,000, around that area. So we're risking 33% to try and get what? That 200 moving average above us. So we're risking 33% to try and get 141%. It's still a risk-reward ratio of 4.1. Anything above 3 is a good risk-reward ratio. So it might still be worth taking a shot, okay? If you don't like the fact that you could be risking 33%, right? And if you are doing leverage trading, maybe you put the stop loss a little bit tighter, below the lows for this year when we came in as low as like 0.141, so like 1414. So if you want to put your stop loss a little bit tighter at like 1414 or maybe like 1350, you're risking 12% to try and get that 200-day moving average. You're risking 12% to get 140%. Your risk reward ratio then becomes 11 here. Okay, 11 on a risk reward basis here for MOG. Okay, but I don't know if we're actually gonna hit that 200-day moving average. If you're leverage trading this DZ, maybe you could try to target that 50-day moving average, which is a little bit more realistic, where we could get a rejection at that area, and that's sitting at like 2120. Okay, and with that you get a normal risk reward ratio of 3.0. Okay, so it's still a good risk reward ratio. If we could just get back up to that 50-day moving average, that green line, that 50-day simple moving average, you're risking 12% to try and get 38%. I'm not sure if you're leverage trading this, but you know, you could probably maybe do like a small leverage bet here of like 3x. And if you do 3x, you're still going to be risking like 30, maybe 36% on your stop loss, but you'll be trying to get like maybe like 120%, 110% on your target here for MOG. So I think, you know, a long could play out. It could play out. You're playing a risky game here. Now, do you have you know, on the RSI, are you actually getting some bullish divergence here Looks like you kind of are. You're creating some higher lows here on the RSI. And then let's see. Prices, yeah, you know prices are making lower lows here. So you are kind of seeing buyers stepping up to the plate to try to buy at these low prices here for MOG. So maybe this does play out and you get a nice little spike up and you get take some profit there at that 50-day simple moving average, that green line right there. And then maybe you keep a little bit of your position in to see if you can get that, you know, 20-day moving average if we ever do jump up to that, you know, where you're risking about 12% to try and get 140%. But, you know, if you're using 3x leverage, you're risking about 36% to try and get maybe like, I gotta do the math in my head, but 14, 28, 420%. So you could be risking like 36% to get 420%. Okay, that might play out. We shall see. We shall see. But that's MOG right there, which is a meme coin in cryptocurrency world here. Let's go ahead and take a look at another request here. We got THQ. Let's go ahead and take a look at THQ here. Let's see what that one's doing. This is another cryptocurrency. Looks like it's trading on Coinbase. I have done previous chart work here. Looks like it started trading on Coinbase here in December of last year. And I did some previous chart work on here. I don't know if I want to use this chart on Coinbase. I feel like there might be some more data. Coinbase usually doesn't get the coins right away. There's other cryptocurrency exchanges that get you know, these coins before Coinbase does. So I like using those other charts on the other exchanges here. However, looks like you know, THQ on MEXC Exchange doesn't really. I mean, I was trying to see if this had more data going further back. Looks like MEXC and Coinbase, they both got this around December of last year. So that's all I got to work with here. Not that much for moving averages besides the 21 EMA is what I have here. We can still use that. That's still a useful line to be using here. You can see that, you know, the 21 EMA has been acting as resistance every time we come up to it. We don't stay above it for too long. I mean, sure, we can spike up above it, but we haven't really closed above that 21 EMA. And you can see, like, yeah, back here, like we came up here to the 21 EMA in February around Valentine's Day, and we weren't able to stay above it. Every time we get above it, we get knocked down. Looks like there was a couple of days here in March where we actually stayed above that 21 EMA. Okay. But that 21 EMA, you can use that as a guidance, you know, as a good area to try to take a short if you do get above it. Because it looks like THQ is not able to sustain itself above it. We did have, you know, a couple of days here in March, right, where we stayed above it, but then we just lost it. Okay. So I think 21 EMA, which is sitting at 28.78, right? No, 0.0287 pennies here. I think that should be your guidance to try to enter a short. Now, granted, this thing could always spike up and you might get stopped out, but, you know, if you do see this thing spike up on one of these days here where it goes up to, like, you know, maybe like 3 or 4 cents here, and you start seeing the bearish divergence on the smaller time frames, like the 15-minute time frame or the 5-minute time frame, start seeing bearish divergence, you might just try to enter a short every time you see a spike, and then try to bring this thing, you know, back down to the 21 EMA, take profit at the 21 EMA. And then who knows, if it does go below the 21 EMA, you could take even more profit on your short. But right now, I mean, would you try to short it right now? Probably not. I would wait until you get back up to the 21 EMA to try to short it. Right now, it might be worth just trying to take a long. And then where would you put your stop loss on your long? Probably below the lows for maybe yesterday, where we saw this thing as low as like 2.5 pennies here. You put your stop loss below there. If you want to be really conservative, you can put your stop loss below the low here on February 6th when we got as low as like 0.024 pennies. So if you want to make it at 0.024 or 0.023 for your stop loss, I mean, let's game plan this thing out here, right? If we could just do what we did here and we just spike up to like 3 cents. Well, let's see, how high did we get? 3.5 cents on Monday, last Monday. Let's just game plan that one out. If we did a long here, and we did a stop loss right below the lows from yesterday, and we tried a long and maybe I don't know if you didn't get 3.5 cents. You know, it might make a low or high. Maybe you could try to take profit a little bit below that by front running it a little bit. Maybe 0.033 pennies is where you put your long, and that's a good risk reward ratio of 3.75. You're risking 6.6% to try and get 25%, and you can play that. You can play that, right? And if you get stopped out, you get stopped out. You're gonna lose about 6%. Okay. And you can do this just by spot trading. You don't have to do leverage trading. But if you want to do leverage trading on this, I mean, what would you do for leverage? I would probably not do that much leverage. Maybe like 5x leverage or less. Okay, maybe like 3x leverage. If 3x leverage, you'll be risking about 18% to try and get 75%. That's worth it, right? If you did like $100 a margin, you know, your stop loss, you would lose with 3x leverage. You would probably lose about like 18 bucks. But if you're, you know, right on the move up to higher prices, you could probably make like 75 bucks. DZ's asking, is there a double bottom on THQ? I can see where you're playing around with the idea of a double bottom. You got a candle wick low here at 0.024 pennies, and then, you know, here yesterday we came down to 0.0249 pennies. So there's a possibility of a double bottom playing out. However, it looks kind of weird and janky. I'm not sure. I mean, if this is a double bottom, DZ, how would you measure the measure move for the double bottom? You'd probably take the candle wick high here, down to the candle wick lows here, or the bottom, you know, at 0.024 pennies. You would take that measure move. Let me just straighten this out here a little bit. But you would take this measure move, you put it on top of the candle wick, or on top of the high in between the two bottoms, and it gives you the measure move. It looks like the measure move could put you at 4.5 pennies here for THQ. And I'm pretty much put you like almost where you were trading at back here in the beginning of January. So it's a possibility. It's an idea. There could be a double bottom forming. Now I'm a little bit curious. Is there any bullish divergence forming on this one? Kinda. There is a little bit of bullish divergence. You know, we have seen lower lows here on price, right? And then you have seen higher lows here on the RSI. Now the lows here, let's see low here at 0.02243 pennies. That was back on February 6th. You kind of did make a relatively higher low, a double bottom, I would say. But this, I mean, the way I'm interpreting and reading this chart, buyers are showing up to the plate here. All right, you're getting more buying price action here on the RSI. You obviously made lower lows here, but the buyers like these prices here. And let me just look at money flow real quick here. You are making higher lows here on the money flow, or at least on the momentum wave here. The money flow would actually be the red and green here. So the red and green. The red, you are negative on the money flow. I guess what you're waiting for, DZ, is just to see if green buy dot come in. But, you know, that green buy dot might come in if we jump up to like three or 4 pennies here. So that would, you know, that signal might fire off a little bit too late on the daily time frame here. Maybe if we go into the 1 hour chart, we might see something better here, or the 4 hour chart. Let's look at the 4 hour chart here, see if anything good and juicy is on the 4 hour chart. Why is my my chart frozen here? Is there anything good here on the? Just want to make sure my internet didn't freeze here. Nope, I can hear myself. My chart just froze here. Let me click the refresh button here. Yeah, that's just weird. I mean, I just lost the chart too. THQ, USD, on MEXC. And I mean, the chart's just freezing up here on me. How am I gonna do? All right, there we go. 4 hour chart here on THQ. I mean, money flow was starting to, you know, go into positive territory here during the weekend. You got a little bit of green showing up here. But money flow is now starting to go in the red. I think it does want to drift down to lower prices here. You might be able to get a better entry on your long here. Let's look at the 1 hour chart here real quick. Now why is this thing being slow on me? Oh my god. Trying to do a trading live stream here. Technical analysis live stream. My trading view is just acting slow right now. On the 1 hour time frame, yeah, you're starting to see money flow go negative here. So, yeah, I think you could get some better prices for a long here on THQ, maybe. But remember what I said earlier about the price of Bitcoin and crypto. I think we got a temporary spike up in price because Donald Trump basically said that they're having, you know, good positive talks here with Iran. Whether that's a lie or not, who knows? I think he is lying. Okay, he didn't really tell us who he was talking to. Positive talks here. Who was talking to who? I mean, I always go back and look at the news to see, you know, what is the other side saying, and it sounds like Iran says Trump is bullshitting right now. But yeah, if Trump is bullshitting, then I would expect crypto to go down in price, and I would expect THQ to go down in price, and maybe you might be able to get a better entry on your long. That's basically what I'm trying to gather here, or basically trying to elaborate here with you, is that you know, we might be getting better prices, cheaper prices here for THQ, and I can see that on the money flow as well on the 1 hour and 4 hour time frame. All right, let's see. We are talking about cryptocurrencies. We talked about the price of oil. We talked about Bitcoin for a little bit there. There's another cryptocurrency that actually is doing pretty well today, or has done well over the last few days here, and that would be Siren. Actually, Siren's not doing good today. Siren's actually down 12% today. We'll see why that's the case here, but over the past week here, Siren has been the clear winner in cryptocurrency world, up 312% for the week. Clearly beating out all the gains from all the other cryptocurrencies out there. We did see like River up 15% last week. Coca up 10%. Kite up 11.4%. But none of them are doing like triple-digit gains for the week like Siren. And I gotta do some more research on Siren, but I believe this is a meme coin, right? I mean, you got like a little picture of a girl or Siren is what they would probably call it. Yeah, up 312%. Let's take a look at what Siren is doing here, because although it's up 300% for the week, I believe it is down today. And how much further down could it go? Is the run up done in Siren? Let's take a look at Siren on MEXC Exchange here. And I have done previous chart work on Siren. Oh my god. Oh, wow. Did we hit my 3618? We went berserk on Siren. Sunday just, oh my god, up 147%. Looks like Siren here on MEXC is only down 1% for today. Clearly got this candle wick high, taking you as high as $4.75. We're now trading at $2.30. Yikes. So I'm gonna have to redraw the Fibonacci on this for a second here. But yeah, Siren, like, I mean, just out of nowhere. I mean, it's been climbing up all throughout February, right? February, you got something here that it just started showing up on the radar on February 7th here. Went up 183% on February 7th, and then it just started going up and to the right, up and to the right, up and to the right, and then it started going exponential here over the last couple of weeks here in March. Oh wow, yeah, definitely exponential with that green God candle here on Sunday. But it looks like we kind of had like a little bit of a blow off top bite as for Siren here, and I can measure, like, you know, what the Fibonacci levels are to look for here. All right, so let's go ahead and measure this out here. We'll take it from, like, I believe Siren was at like 7 cents here, all the way up to the highs here at $4.70. Was that? Yeah, we got up to like $4.75 there. And you can see that we already came down to the 0.5 retracement here. Did we go down to the 0.618? 0.618 says $1.85 here. Let's see. We came down to $2.03, so not quite. Not quite. Alright. But if we were to come down a little bit further, you know, I would expect $1.85 to $1.70 to be the next area to look for Siren. I'll be on the lookout for that level there. To see if you can scoop up some cheaper Siren if you can. Now, I don't see any moving averages that would give us support at this area. The nearest moving average is at 21 EMA, sitting at 74 cents. And that's below, you know, some of these other Fibonacci levels here. So I don't see any confluence here. Maybe if we go into the 4-hour chart, we might see some confluence or something showing up. So on the 4-hour chart, we got the 21 EMA sitting at $1.53. That doesn't really line up with any of the Fibonacci's here, so not quite. Not quite. But that's another idea here, is that we could come down to the $1.53 area and get support off the 4-hour 21 EMA. Let's look at the 1-hour chart. What is 1-hour chart showing? The 1-hour chart shows the 21 EMA is actually right above you at $2.47. And then there's more support on the moving averages here at that $1.37 area with that 50 simple moving averages on the 1-hour time frame. So, I mean, all this is showing me that there's a lot of room for us to just drop down to lower prices here. Like $1.50 could hit as support for Siren. I'm going to try to do something else besides Fibonacci here and moving averages. I want to see what the real world data is showing here with the VRVP indicator here. If I turn on the VRVP indicator, the visual range volume profile indicator, it's going to show me where there could be high volume nodes to give us support. There is a little bit of volume here at $2. Then I see some volume here at like $1.72, $1.70. And then we got a more significant area. We got the value area high sitting at $1.47. I already said like $1.50 I could see acting as support here for Siren. So that's your support level, I believe, to be looking out for. It's like $1.45, $1.50. However, there is something here at $1.70, and then there is something here at $2. We'll see, because we haven't really been at those prices. We haven't really gained any traction here on the VRVP indicator. It looks like, you know, in recent days here, the majority of the people that bought Siren, they bought it here at this blue line. That's your point of control, sitting at 90 cents. Okay, that should definitely for sure act as support. And if you're able to get Siren at 90 cents, that would be a better deal than getting it at $2.33. I think for Siren here, we'll see if Siren is able to climb up to higher prices. But if Siren actually makes a lower high below like what it did earlier yesterday and today, when it was at like $3 and change, I think if we start making a lower high here, that would be your signal to trying to enter a short on Siren. I'd be looking to try to short Siren, and you could take it all the way down, probably to this value area high, sitting at $1.45, $1.50, somewhere around that area, for take profit on the short. We got Deluxe. I believe we got DeluxeAlgo in the chat here. Deluxe, how you doing? Let me see. I don't know if you're in the chat or not, but I think I see you. Trying to see like when did you join, and let me know if you're in the chat, Deluxe. Let me see. We do got DeluxeAlgo's indicators here. Let me see if I can. I started using some other indicators here because Deluxe was doing some updates on his indicators. Let me go ahead and see if I can pull up the indicators with the DeluxeAlgo indicators here. All right. Yep. Okay. I gotta refresh. Yeah, I'm gonna see it. I don't know if the update. If everything's been updated yet here, but I'm going to try to click refresh on the indicator here, see if it updates. Alright, nope. I'm going to have to probably get re-invited for the indicators here. Well, we're going to have to talk on the Discord, Deluxe, if you're in the chat, to try and get those, try to fix these indicators here for me. Because right now it's still showing that the indicators are not working. at this moment. But let me go back. I'll use the other indicators that I've been using before I started using Deluxe, and I've been using the RSI indicator here. One of my favorite indicators to use to find out bullish and bearish divergence here. I use the money flow market cipher B indicator here. And then I also like using the MACD indicator here. So those are the indicators that I'm using right now until I can get my Deluxe indicators working again here. Alright. Alright, yeah. Alright, there's Deluxe. I knew you were in the chat. Yeah, we'll have to get those back up and running again for me here. I see Nicole's in the chat. How you doing, Nicole? And then let's see, what else we got here? Do you have any requests? You guys have any requests for any other cryptocurrencies, commodities, or stocks to look at? Lukey Boy says Siren is not good. Look at the bubble maps. Yeah, I know. We just looked at Siren just now. I mean, we're looking at it right now. Siren took a little bit of a beat down this morning. Looking at the 1 hour chart here, it looks like it started dropping here at 6 a.m. And I think what happened was money from Siren probably went, there was probably a crowded trade going on. And I think, traders probably took profit on Siren this morning to go buy the other cryptocurrencies that got beaten down, like, Solana, XRP, Ethereum and whatnot. Because we got the good news from Trump saying that that they're in talks with Iran to possibly open up the Strait of Hormuz. However, let's go back to Twitter here. They did say that, Trump said that he's pleased to report that the United States of America and the country of Iran had, over the last 2 days, productive conversations regarding a resolution of hostilities in the Middle East. And based on that, they're not going to be striking Iranian power plants, and they won't be doing that for at least 5 days. They're postponing it for 5 days here. But I think Trump was just trying to save face, because Iran then said that there are no negotiations underway with the United States, and they reject Trump's claim about ongoing talks. They say that as of now, the Strait of Hormuz is closed to any aggressors. So I think they just basically said that Trump was lying to us all, and it kind of makes sense. Trump was trying to save face, because oil was spiking above $100 a barrel, and the stock market was crashing last night in the futures markets, and it was about to crash this morning up until Donald Trump said, hey, guess what? We're actually having talks with Iran, and we're not going to blow up their power plants. Which in itself would have been a war crime if they did that, because you're not supposed to be blowing up civilian power plants, because it has nothing to do with the military or the government of Iran. It's just punishing the people for no reason. But I guess, it was a desperate bluff by Trump to try to get their attention to come to the negotiating table. And I just don't know. I just really don't know what to make of, I think the market's still trying to figure it out, but, what we do know is we can track, how many ships are going through the Strait of Hormuz. And right now it's been at like a very low number. And we'll see what happens with today and tomorrow. If no ships are going through, then guess what? Oil's going to probably continue going up to higher prices. And if they're still attacking each other left and right, with Iran attacking its neighbors in Israel, and the United States and Israel attacking Iran, then we're probably going to see oil prices creep up again, and we're probably going to see the stock market go back down again. So I think today was just an opportunity to try and take profit on whatever longs you had in the stock market, whatever longs you had on crypto. You could take profit, and I think it might be an opportunity to try and take a short on Bitcoin and take a short on cryptos, because if it's true that, you know, they're not actually talking to each other and Trump was just trying to save face, then this is going to just be a buying opportunity for oil, and it's going to be a shorting opportunity for stocks and crypto. But we shall see. We shall see. Let me see what you guys have to say in the chat so far about what I just said. Thank you, Tomkin, for following me here on TikTok. Appreciate that. Thank you, Chamara, for following me here on TikTok. Appreciate that. So let's go back to the price of oil here. We are looking at the price of oil, currently trading at $90.74, and yeah, oil did get a drop here on the 1 hour time frame around 7 a.m. when Trump said that, hey, everything's fine. You know, we're not actually gonna strike Iranian power plants. We're gonna wait 5 days because we're having productive talks with them. That caused oil to just drop like 5% in 1 hour. Okay, we went from like $100 barrel oil all the way down to $85 barrel oil here. But you can see that we're now creating higher lows here on the 1 hour time frame, and oil's trying to creep back up to higher prices now. On the 1 hour time frame, we got as high as like $93 here while I was talking to you guys here in the live stream. I think if Trump is lying to us all about them having good productive talks here, if this was just Trump saving face and preventing himself from committing a war crime by blowing up civilian power plants that have nothing to do with the military, then we might see oil probably creep back up to $95 here, which is a line in the sand that I drew this out and highlighted on the chart here, that $95 is a area that has acted as support and resistance right below $100 a barrel here. But if we continue climbing up to higher prices, let me just zoom out to the 4 hour chart here and try to get the Fibonacci here. There is a 786 retracement here at $107. Okay, $107 barrel oil is where we were probably going to be going had Trump not said what he said today about, oh yeah, positive talks here with Iran. Okay, I think we could see $107 barrel oil later on this week or next week if they do decide to attack Iranian, power plants, and if Iran decides to attack more oil infrastructure all throughout the Middle East, then yeah, you're gonna probably see $107 barrel oil. And if the Strait of Hormuz is not opening up and they're still fighting it out between Israel and United States and Iran, then you're gonna probably see $107 barrel oil, and you probably will see $119 barrel oil like you saw back here in the beginning of March, right? Where we did see $119 barrel oil. And then there's even some more doomsday numbers above where there's a potential target to the upside of $134 barrel oil. And I've heard some experts in the oil industry saying that $150 barrel oil is probably a target as well. And it shows up here on the chart with the 1618 at $154. That's another target. So I'm just playing the levels here. I was long in oil last night. I got stopped out of my longs, obviously. And I saw that we hit the 50 moving average on the 4 hour time frame. That's acting as support at $87 here. I think $87, which has acted as support and resistance in the past year, could act as support for oil. And I did enter a long on oil using Coinbase Exchange. I entered a long. I got two contracts of oil. Last night I had 4 contracts, but I think I could just buy at cheaper prices here, because I'm doubtful that this war is going to be coming to an end soon. Because Donald Trump could say that, hey, we're having positive talks here, and even Donald Trump could say that that he wants to end the war here soon. But that doesn't mean Iran feels the same way. Iran could still attack infrastructure in the Middle East, attack oil tankers, attack oil refineries to punish the United States for starting this war. And you know, this could just be a buy to dip opportunity for oil traders here. Unfortunately, it's not good for the rest of the world to be seeing oil prices creeping up higher. But you know, we've seen them drop down, but I don't know if this is going to be sustained. I don't know if it's going to be sustained. We shall see. You know, over the next few days, what happens here. But I think unless we get positive developments here, unless we get positive news from Iran themselves saying that, oh yeah, we are actually talking with the United States and we want to come to a positive, you know, ending to this war, maybe a possible ceasefire, I think you're gonna see price of oil just creep back up again, and you'll probably see, like, you know, Bitcoin and crypto and stocks start going back down again. Let's see. We don't really have that much of a chatty crowd here today. That's fine. I usually go live streaming. I try to stream, you know, between 12 to 2 p.m. That's my new time slot as of now. But if I don't have much requests here, I mean, I can look at some stocks and some cryptos that I want to look at. And I can look at, you know, oil, because I am currently trading oil. But if we don't really have that many requests to be going over, there's no point in me continuing the live stream just to be talking for no reason. And I do have things I want to do today. I want to hit the gym at some point here. I want to get back to my trading as well and watching the charts here. But if you guys don't have anything else to add to the conversation here, then you know, I can end the live stream. Let's see. Tom Keen says, what do I think about VLO and VRA? So we did get some requests that came in. All right. And VRA, is that a stock or a crypto? I apologize. I can't know every single stock crypto that's out there, but I just need to know. I think VLO is a cryptocurrency that we were looking at the other day. But yeah, let me go ahead and write that. Put that in the trading view charts here. VLO. Now there is a VLO stock. Is that what you were asking about? Is this a stock or a crypto? And there's also, I believe, VLO USD, Velodrome Finance. I'm gonna go with Velodrome Finance unless you tell me no, Damien. We're looking at the stock. Both of them are cryptos. Okay, so you want to take a look at cryptos. Got it. All right. Appreciate the clarification there. All right. Velodrome Finance currently trading at less than a penny and a half, roughly. Let's get into the daily chart. I like to get the bigger picture view by looking at the daily chart here. Looks like we had a pretty bad day here on February 6th. We got as low as about a 0.011 pennies here. However, you were making the case of making higher lows here, and I haven't really drawn here, but you had something going on here where you kind of was creating an uptrend here. However, you lost that uptrend here on March 19th, last Thursday. Looks like you're kind of coming back up to that uptrend. Are you gonna get rejected? I'd be on the lookout for this, right? Are you gonna get rejected from this uptrend? Also, are you gonna get rejected from this 21 EMA, sitting at about a 0.0158 pennies here? I'd be on the lookout for a potential rejection in this area here for Velodrome Finance. If you don't get it rejected and you actually climb up to higher prices, then the next thing to look out for is this 50-day moving average. This green line sitting at 0.0182 pennies here could actually knock you down to lower prices initially. You could get a reaction. I don't know if we're going to just climb up and slice right through it to higher prices here. I would expect that 50-day moving average to act as resistance at some point. So right now, it's looking like we'll just, you know, play the moving averages. It's looking like 21 EMA at 0.0158 pennies could act as a take profit resistance area. And then the 50-day moving average at 0.018 pennies could act as take profit and a resistance area if you're trying to long Velodrome Finance right now. Now, if you're trying to short Velodrome Finance, I would probably wait until you get up to that 21 EMA to try and enter short, and then you probably put the stop loss right above the candlewick high here. Looks like we got as high as like 0.0177 pennies here on March 6th. I would probably look for you know, a stop loss there, or even better, if you want to wait to try to enter there, that'd be even better. But yeah, you could try to short the 21 EMA if you do get up there, and then put your stop loss there. If that doesn't work, then maybe you could try to short if you come up to this candlewick high here on March 6th, and then put your stop loss maybe above the 50 moving average here at 0.018 pennies. Just an idea. I don't know what you're trying to do here. I'm just throwing it out here as like possible ideas for, like, you know, shorting or longing Velo Dome Finance right now. All right, let's move on from Velo. We'll take a look at VRA. VRA, Veracity. Looks like we could find it here on MEXC Exchange. Hey, this thing is acting slow on me again. Alright, there we go. Oh my god. What have you done here? Looking at the daily chart here for this thing. Oh my god. Oh my god. This thing has dropped like a rock over the last couple of years now. Some of your best days were like December of 2024, almost 2 years ago. About like a year and a half ago, roughly. So this thing only did well during the altcoin season, but man, wow, actually this thing was higher back here in 2021. When it was trading at like 8 cents. What are you doing at such a low price? This thing looks like it's ready to die. Okay, it's you know, the dirt is being thrown on the coffin right now on Veracity. This thing is on its way into the grave right now. I don't know what you're trying to do here by making a request here. Are you trying to long it, or are you trying to short it? Because shorting it has played out pretty well the last couple of years. Would you short at the bottom though? Yeah, I mean, you're at the bottom as of now. Just looking at the 21 EMA, the 21 EMA has been a problem. That's where I would try to enter a short if we do get back up to that 21 EMA. I would enter a short at 1980 if I could here on Veracity. That's where that 21 EMA, this white number right here is your 21 EMA number. Sitting at 1985, I would try to short at 1985. Every now and then you might get a spike up to higher prices, so I probably wouldn't use too much leverage on the short. But, you know, you could probably entertain the idea of shorting at 1985 and putting your stop loss above the candlewick high here on March 2nd. We got as high as 2600. So you put your stop loss at like 2600 or 2700, maybe 2650 or something like that. And just continue making money while this thing continues dropping down to lower prices here. Now, are you creating bullish divergence, saying that, you know, things might change here for the better? I mean, I do see on the RSI here, and this is a little weird and janky. It's got some crazy-ass RSI price action going on here, but you are creeping up to higher levels here on the RSI, showing that the buyers are stepping in at lower prices. So maybe there could be potential bullish divergence here. Okay, is that why you made this request? Because you saw some bullish divergence showing up on the chart here? Or maybe you didn't know. Maybe you don't even know what bullish divergence is, but you just thought this was a good price, and it just so happens that there's also some bullish divergence showing up on the chart. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what your level of experience is with trading, but you are getting a little bit of bullish divergence showing up here on the chart on the daily time frame for Veracity. So maybe Veracity does want to catch some bids here and go up to higher prices and go up to that 21 EMA. But I think that's the most you can get as of now that you can expect to get out of Veracity. Because when we go up to 21 EMA, we do not stay above it. We get above it for a little bit, but we don't even get close above it. You know, like we got these candlewick highs above the 21 EMA, but you're not actually getting a candle body close above it. So, you know, the trend is down. If you get a spike up on one of these days where you get above the 21, I would like entertain the idea of trying to short it if I could. Alright, so if you get spiked up to like, you know, 0.00002 pennies here, I would try to short. And then put the stop loss, like I said, above the last candle wick high or above this highest candle wick high here at 2600. What's going on here with the MACD? Is there anything good on the MACD here? Buying pressure is here. I mean, but like the price is still trending downward, and also on top of that, the buying pressure is also trending downward. So you're not getting any conviction out of this cryptocurrency as of yet. Money flow. Let's see what money flow is doing here. Money flow has been in the negative, and it's still negative. However, very interesting is it is saying that there is some bottom signals coming in here. So maybe we are getting close to bottoming out here on Veracity. Maybe something does happen. I have no idea why this thing would jump up to higher prices here, but you know, you could game plan along here if that's what you want to do. And where would you put your stop loss? Below the low of yesterday? We got as low as like 1720. You can put your stop loss really tight if you want to, right there. And you're just hoping, like, and you know, if you're gonna long it, I would take profit at the 21 EMA. And if you see this thing go up above the 21 EMA to like 2200, I would also take more profit. Okay? Of course, move your stop loss to break even or move your stop loss into profit. If you do see this thing, you know, spike up to higher prices later on today or tomorrow or later on this week or next week. But that's what I would do here. You know, I would just try to like take profit when it gets up to like 2200 or 2000 here. And you know, you don't have to take full profit. You could take like a third of it, a third of your profit at that 21 EMA. Maybe take another third when you see it spike up to like 2200. And then leave a little bit rest in there just in case it does go up to like 2600 here. But yeah, that's how I would play this thing. I would try to entertain the idea of longing it. I wouldn't short it just yet. I would wait until we get to that 21 EMA or above the 21 EMA to enter a short. YSB says thoughts on Trump USDT. All right, we gotta take a look at Trump coin. Is Trump coin doing anything interesting today? I'm just curious. I know this thing has been dropping over time. It's been dropping. Like a lot of other meme coins, it's been losing value over the last year or two. Actually, Trump coins hasn't been around for more than 1 year, so it's been losing value over the last year, is what I should say. Trump USD. Okay. And of course, yeah, Trump coin is acting like a meme coin, going down and to the right, losing people money. Was there ever a time this coin actually made money for anybody? Only in the beginning, when it first came out. When it first showed up on the exchange, you saw Trump coin as high as like $77 here on Binance Exchange. And that was it. And then it's been down and to the right. Down and to the right. Losing people money. Every now and then you might get like a little, you know, spring up to higher prices where, you know, only when, you know, Bitcoin's making all-time highs, you see Trump coin actually try to climb up to higher prices here. But that's about it. I mean, it's been brutal trying to invest in this coin. And as of now, you can see like when we get up to like the green line here, the 50-day moving average, that's actually a good time to try to sell, take profit, and maybe entertain the idea of taking a short. Even better place to try to short is if you actually do up to the 200-day moving average, this red line here. You can see this red line, we don't stay above it. I should probably get rid of these other red lines here so you can focus on the red line that I'm talking about. But this 200 moving average, you can put that on your chart. Alright, nothing special about it. It's just a 200 simple day moving average. If you ever get up to that level there, you would try to enter a short, because it looks like we're not able to actually get above it. And as of now, like, we're having a hard time just trying to stay above the 50-day moving average, which is this green line here, okay? We actually came up to the 50-day moving average about a couple of weeks ago. Looks like around here on Friday, March 13th. We got up above this 50-day moving average, but we didn't stay above it. We only did a candle wick above it. We didn't do a candle body close above it. So the 50-day moving average is actually a good area to try to take a short on Trump coin. Okay. Now, if you're not able to short, or if you don't know how to short, and if all you're doing is just buying Trump coin, buying spot bags of Trump coin, then you would just have to do the opposite. Every time you get up to the 50-day moving average, that's when you should probably think about selling your Trump coin. Okay, when you get up to the green line here, sitting at $4.24, I would, be interested in selling Trump coin if that's what I had for my crypto spot bags here. But if you are a day trader and you're trying to do leverage longs here, I mean, yeah, you could try to buy Trump coin right now at $3.27, which is where we're currently trading at right now. And then try to take profit on your longs when we get up to that 50-day moving average. If we get back up to 424, you could try to take profit. If you did that, let's see what would a long do here for us. Getting up to that 50-day moving average, you'd be up 30%. You'd be up 30%. And where would you put your stop loss? Maybe below like the lows for today. Where we got as low as like $3.14. So maybe like 312. You'd be down. You're only gonna get stopped out and lose for 4.4% to try and get that 30%. That's still a decent risk reward ratio. Is that what you're trying to play here? It's still a decent risk reward ratio on Trump coin here. Let's see if anything shows up here with the RSI. Are you making higher lows here? You kind of are. Higher low, higher low. Possibly higher low here. Maybe. Want to see what the money flow's doing here. Money flow's in the green right now. However, you did get a red sell dot here last Wednesday. But, I mean, if you get a green buy dot, maybe Trump coin does launch up to higher prices here. MACD indicator here. Buying pressure came in last week and then it started dying down. You're getting some selling pressure here on the MACD. But if Trump coin starts going up to higher prices, you'll see the blue line curve up. You'll see the orange line curve up. And then you'll see what was red start turning into green again here for the MACD indicator. We shall see. This is interesting. Now I'm a little bit curious. Did we hit a Fibonacci retracement? Did we hit the deep retracement on the Fibonacci? Let me measure it. Top to bottom here. Oh, we're at a 0.236 retracement at $3.12. Well, we hit that earlier today at 314 roughly. So Fibonacci levels look out to the upside is you got the 0.32 at 338, the 0.5 at 359, and the 618 at $3.80. I would most likely expect the 618 to get hit on the way to the upside if we are going to see some upside. I would entertain the idea of taking some profit at 380, and then of course, taking profit at that 50-day moving average at 424. That's how I would play Trump coin right there. Mario's in the chat. Hey Mario, how you doing? Mario's asking about TARS AI. And Mario says hello to me. Hello to you, Mario. YSB says you're holding until maybe mid-April. Okay. And you say that Trump coin is estimated to come up again soon? Alright, we shall see. YSB, thoughts? Yeah, you just asked me thoughts on Trump coin, and then I'm just trying to go back in the chat and read the comments here. Alright, so let's take a look at TARS AI for Mario here. I haven't got a request for TARS AI in a long time. What has TARS AI been up to since the last time we looked at it? We're looking at the daily chart for TARS AI. TARS AI currently trading at $0.015, down 4.4% today. And yeah, it looks like TARS AI has just been dropping like a rock, like all the other old coins here. I'm just zooming out so people can see what TARS AI has done. Obviously, it's seen its best days in December of 2024. This thing was trading up as high as like 45 cents. And now you're at a pay and a half, so you lost about almost 99% of your value here. Sounds like a old coin to me. Oh man. Alright. And I think we looked at TARS AI. We saw this thing drop in April of last year at like 2 cents, and then we kind of see if like would 2 cents hold off and act like a double bottom, and it didn't because we went down to lower prices. Then we spiked up, then we went down to lower prices after that. So you know, these cryptocurrencies, these altcoins, they're gonna probably surprise people to a negative way here, where we dropped 90% on these assets, but you would think, oh, I could buy, you know, after this thing dropped 90%, I could try to buy, and maybe I can 10x my money if it goes back to where it was, you know, a year ago or 2 years ago. But some of these altcoins are capable of not only dropping 90%, but dropping 90% on top of the 90% that they drop down, and further sending you into wrecked territory. Possible bankruptcy. I mean, this thing looks like, I mean, if this was a stock, it'd be on its way to going bankrupt. Okay? And the only way you can play this is like trying to short it as of now. And it's like almost like it's like the same thing as like Trump coin and VRA. I mean, you would short at the 21 EMA, the white line, right? But sometimes you do pop up above the 21 EMA, and when you do pop up above the 21 EMA, that's when you could maybe try to short at the 50 moving average, that green line. Right now, we're coming up on that green line right now, or we did a couple of days ago here. We got up to what, 2 cents here, which is where that 50-day moving average was sitting at for the most part. But you can see we can't even stay above it for 1 day. We spiked above it. We had an intraday high at like 2 cents above the 50-day moving average, but we can't even actually stay above it and close above it. But what's going on over here? We kind of are making higher lows here on the daily time frame here. Looks like we bottomed out here when Bitcoin hit 60K in like the beginning of February. This thing was at like a penny, okay? And we've been creeping up to higher lows here, just like Bitcoin. So TARS AI is kind of acting just like Bitcoin. But if TARS AI is acting just like Bitcoin, why not just be in Bitcoin? I don't know why we're choosing TARS AI as our horse here to bet on, okay? I would rather be in Bitcoin myself, because Bitcoin does go up to higher prices over time. We don't see that with TARS AI. But I mean, do what you want to do. I don't even know what you're trying to do here with TARS AI. Maybe you are trying to short it, but I would be looking for shorts when we get to that 50-day moving average. And then if we do get up to the 100-day moving average, I'd be looking for shorts again. And you know, if we ever are so lucky to actually get up to this 200-day moving average, then I'd be looking for shorts at 3 cents as well, which is where that 200-day simple moving average is sitting at. But would you try to enter short right now? Probably not. Would you try to enter a long? Well, you know, earlier today would have been better at a penny and a half. That's right where that 21 EMA was at. So the 21 EMA, if you see this thing drop down to that 21 EMA, I'd be looking for a long. The stop loss below maybe the last higher low on the daily time frame. Looks like that came in at like 0.013 pennies. So you could try to long at a penny and a half and put your stop loss at 0.013 pennies. Hopefully it doesn't get hit, and maybe we do jump up to like the 50-day moving average or 2 pennies like we saw, you know, a couple of days ago this weekend. And then you can make some money. You can make some money. And let me just game plan that out here. If you were to try to long, we're not gonna long here right now. Hopefully you're already in the long and you're making some money. But if you can long here at that penny and a half area, put your stop loss at like a 0.013 pennies here. You're risking about 11%, and you're trying to get that 50-day moving average, right? The risk reward ratio is you're risking 11% to try and get 23%. That's only a risk reward ratio of 2.1. Not the best. We have seen other cryptos that could give you a better risk reward ratio here. But if you're gonna see if this thing comes up to that 100-day moving average, you get a better risk reward ratio where if we go up to that 100-day moving average, you're risking 11% to get 51%. Your risk reward ratio is 4.5. I don't know if we're ever going to get up to the 100-day moving average. When's the last time you actually hit that blue line, that 100-day moving average? Gotta go far back into history here. Last time you hit the 100-day moving average was September of last year, September 12th. So I think there's better things to long, and this is us trying to long, not right now, but like long and at a lower price at that 21 EMA. I think there's just better assets to trade besides Stars AI, to be honest with you. You said you are long at 9 cents on TARS AI. Man, I'm sorry to hear that. That's almost like you're down 90% on that. Yeah, but do you see what I mean? Like. And I've done this myself, so don't feel too bad. I've longed I bought spot bags in a cryptocurrency. What's the name of it? I can't even think of the name of it now. But I bought a cryptocurrency that was at a dollar. You know, before I bought it, it was trading at $1. I got in at 6 cents, right? Thinking that I was getting a deal on that cryptocurrency. And then I saw that cryptocurrency continue dropping down from 6 cents to 5 to 4 to 3 down to 1 cent. And then it just kept dropping down below a penny, and then it got delisted. So I basically lost all my money. Even though I was thinking I was getting a good deal buying it, you know, 90% drop on that cryptocurrency. It dropped down another 90%, and that just goes to show that these cryptocurrencies, they can surprise you to the downside as well. Where if you think you're getting a discount, you know, buying something below 90% below its peak from like a year ago or a few months ago, it could drop down another 90% from where you bought it at. So I think we're all getting that lesson here on cryptocurrencies. And I knew it was a risky crypto. I didn't put all my money into it. I didn't put a lot of money into it. I think I put like maybe, I don't know, 500 to $1,000 is a lot. Maybe a lot of money to some people, but it wasn't a lot to me at the time. So, yeah, I lost like, you know, $500, $1,000 on that crypto, thinking that I was getting a good deal, and then it just kept getting, the dip just kept on dipping. As you guys probably heard in some memes on crypto Twitter, it just kept on dipping. Alright, let's go back to the markets here. Let's look at Bitcoin. I'm going to try to finish off on Bitcoin, and then that's going to be it for today here, guys. We see that Bitcoin is currently trading at $70,500 here. Having a nice day because Donald Trump said that they're having positive talks with Iran. Whether that's true or not, the markets kind of did get ahead of itself, and we did see Bitcoin go up to like 71K, almost 72K actually, $71,800 here. And Bitcoin is still making higher lows here, frustrating the crap out of the bears and the short sellers here. But I have marked on the charts here. I knew that 67K was a support area for Bitcoin. It's been acting as a support area and support and resistance area all throughout the last couple of months here. And I also knew that it was a support area because if I threw on the VRVP indicator here, you can see that there is some high volume here at 67K. But now this VRVP indicator is showing that there is a point of control, even a higher volume node here at 68,900. So we are above the POC, the point of control here. And we got now another high volume node here above us at 70,700. If we can get past 70,700 here on Bitcoin, then we could see Bitcoin shoot up to this value area high at 73,200. I think I should mark that on the chart because That is a new area for me to pay attention to now. Right here at 73,300. So that's going to be the next target to the upside if Bitcoin is continuing to be bullish. If Donald Trump is right and we are going to have a ceasefire here with Iran, that would be very positive for the markets, the stock market, the world markets. It'd be causing oil to go down even more if we do get a ceasefire. If that does happen, then I would expect Bitcoin to climb up to 73K. Okay. And if we do get to 73K, maybe you could entertain the idea of trying to enter a short. I don't know. But I would be taking profit on any longs here if you're long in Bitcoin to 73K here. Now, are we going to go to 73K? Do we have the momentum to do that? Let's take a look at the 1 hour time frame to figure out what's going to happen in the next 12 hours here, 12 to 24 hours. And I like looking at my momentum indicators to figure out what the momentum is like, and that's the MEXC indicator here. And you can see in the MEXC indicator, we do have buying pressure that showed up this morning because of the positive news about Iran and the United States. Which, I don't know, it's a one-sided story because I've heard that Iran said that's not the case. But anyways, the markets ran with it this morning, and now we're seeing buying pressure dying down. If we were actually going to be getting a possible ceasefire here, I think you would see buying pressure steadily increasing some more here, which we're not getting. So this is leading me to believe that Donald Trump might have been lying to us. Could have been, you know, for him to save face so he can walk away from having to blow up Iranian power plants, which was pretty ridiculous to say. And I'm not sure what that would accomplish, because Iran was going to do the same to its neighbors in the Middle East and cause a potential humanitarian crisis for everybody. And Iran would still have missiles and drones and stuff like that. So I'm not sure how blowing up power plants was going to fix the issue, unless the power plants were tied to the actual missile launchers. So anyways, long story short, I think buying pressure will continue to die down here, and we'll see. And I'm expecting Bitcoin to go down to lower prices if that's the case, if buying pressure does die down here. Okay. And then as far as like money flow goes here, money flow is in the green, and you did get a green buy dot here at 12 p.m. Eastern time, which is like right when I started this live stream. If money flow continues to increase here, then you will see higher prices. All right. But we're also going to be paying attention to see if we get a red sell dot. If we get a red sell dot in the next hour or two, then that could mean that these are the highest prices we'll see, and we could be on our way down to lower prices here on the 1 hour time frame. So we're going to be paying attention to money flow and the green and red buy and sell dots here. So that's what I see here for Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I think we've seen the highs for the day. I don't know if we're going to get past 71,800. We might have to save that for tomorrow if we are going to go up to higher prices here. But I think it's, you know, we do have to pay attention to what's going on in the markets and what's going on in the news, because the news are affecting the markets right now, especially with touchy subjects like the Middle East and conflict in the Middle East. It's going to affect Bitcoin. It's going to affect stocks. It's going to affect crypto. And right now we got positive news this morning, but I don't know if that's going to stay and sustain itself. We would need to see Bitcoin sustain itself at higher prices here, because if we are going to go to higher prices, first we need to continue to stay at these higher prices. And I would need to see Bitcoin possibly create like maybe a bull flag. Let me just draw this out, but I want to see, you know, maybe something like this where Bitcoin continues making higher lows and frustrating the crap out of the bears. And when we get up to the 200 moving average, that might be a problem where we get rejected, come right back down, get support again, make a higher low, and then maybe we punch out of this to go up to like 73K. Okay, we shall see. And as I say that, look at that, Bitcoin just decided to go up. Did you guys decide to buy some Bitcoin when I said potential bull flag here? Maybe. This is just an idea. This doesn't mean it's going to happen that way. All right. We could just roll over right now and just come right back down. We can just go down just as fast as we went up. Okay. But, you know, something to pay attention to is if we are going to be bullish here on Bitcoin, you know, you might see something like a bull flag here, and then we punch up to higher prices here. And if this is a bull flag, let me just measure out real quick here. If we were to just do what we did here all over again, going into like maybe tomorrow morning or something like that, you take this measured move here. This is part of trend analysis, and it's showing that we could see, you know, Bitcoin get up to, oh, 75K. That'd be interesting if we were able to do that. But I don't know. I think this 200 moving average on the 1 hour time frame, I think this is going to be a problem because it acted as a problem this morning where we weren't able to go above it and stay above it. Well, actually, we went above it, but we weren't able to stay above it. We immediately came down. So, we shall see. We shall see. Thank you, y'all, for following me here on TikTok. Golden Stream says Solana. I was planning on ending the live stream here, Golden Stream. You just put in that request just now. Take a look at the trend of Solana. Alright, I'll take a look at Solana real quick, and then that's going to be the last thing that we'll look at for this live stream here. Okay. Right now we can see that Solana is currently trading at $90.67 here. Up 5%. Having a good day, just like the other cryptocurrencies, because of the positive news that Trump gave us. Let me go into the daily time frame here. So I was playing around with the idea here that Solana could be in a parallel rising channel here. And it looks like we hit the bottom of that channel here on Sunday. And if we're going to get a nice little bounce here, we could get up to this heart line, sitting at about like $94. That's the middle of the channel here. Or maybe we actually climb up to the top of the channel here, sitting at about $102 maybe. We might see Solana do that. I don't know what would cause us to go up to higher prices besides positive news from the conflict in the Middle East here. Let's go into the 1 hour time frame, see what the 1 hour time frame is looking like for the day traders out there. Just like Bitcoin, you know, Solana had a little bit of problems staying above the 200 moving average, but it looks like, yeah, you got a little bit of a dip here, and now you're trying to get above that 200 moving average. So this is interesting to see here. Maybe Solana's going to create a bull flag and try to climb up to higher prices here. We shall see. Buying pressure is dying down here. If we see buying pressure start increasing, then you'll see obviously the price of Solana increase as well. But if you see this blue line start curving down to the downside here on the 1 hour time frame, that could be the beginning of going to lower prices here for Solana. Like if you see something like this where the blue line, yeah, it goes up, but if it starts curving down and it crosses the orange line to the downside, you'll get a MEXC crossover and you'll see selling pressure showing up. That would not be good. But you got to pay attention to that on the 1 hour time frame. Are we going to continue climbing up? And then once you see the blue line curve down, or start curving down or go flat for a little bit, I would take profit on whatever long that you're in on Solana here. And then let's see money flow real quick here. Money flow is in the green, and you had a green buy down here that came in at 6 a.m. All right, right before Donald Trump gave us the positive news about, you know, the Middle East conflict. But the next thing that comes up after a green buy dot should be a red sell dot. So if you see a red sell dot show up on the 1 hour time frame, then it might be time to take profit on your Solana and maybe entertain the idea of shorting it if that's what you want to do. Alrighty. Okay, guys, that's going to be it for today's live stream. I'm going to try to go live again, same time tomorrow. Tomorrow's Tuesday. Yeah. If I don't go live same time tomorrow, then I might go live like maybe later on at like 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern time. But yeah, be on the lookout for another live stream here, guys, from me. Same time tomorrow. Okay? Take care and good luck trading and investing in whatever asset you decide to get into, guys. Take care, guys.